Hello everyone, I'm Yi. This is my week 6 assignment number 1. Today I wanna present you the sky is the limit because in my opinion I believe everyone has infinite potential. Like me, when I was in Taiwan, I never realized I can do that or I can do this. But when I'm in American, I realized okay, I have to rely on myself. So I really discovered lots of potential from myself. So as a teacher, if we can help the student to discover their potential, encourage them, and stimulate toward the positive direction, I believe that they can bring us the promising future when we age. So this week, we are asked to read 2 articles and see 3 videos. First article, Diverse Teaching Strategy for Diverse Learner. After reading this article, it's quite a long article, but really very helpful. I begged to check the chapter 2 because it is from chapter 2, but actually it's, the originated from a book named Educate Everybody's Children. So it's a very important, idea about equality. Everyone is deserve the equal opportunity, not only for the education, for the family, for the community within our country. And we have to recognize the reality. Now, like newcomer, they face the difficulty because the language barrier, because the social economy status, and maybe different cultural or tradition. Somehow there is broken from fitting into our society. But we can do something for them. We can try to recognize their difficulty first and then help them put aside our stereotype and also embrace the diversity in our country. I remember I heard a story talking about a boy from the Southeast Asia country. He said that when he escaped from his country, that night he ran 3 hours. I mean, for a lot of people, like you cannot imagine that a boy, maybe just 5 years old, can run 3 hours just because they want to get out of the country. But the boy also demonstrated a spirit of perseverance. So if our children can learn that kind of spirit, I would say that is really very helpful. And it is so vivid in their life from their classmates, not just because of the language barrier to keep hidden from us. We have something that is a mutual, spirit, a common sense. It's universal. So I will say that is quite important. Everyone, every individual, they can provide some strength, some good, the example for us, for our children. So as a teacher, we are not just a teacher. We show the teaching. We are also the learner. We need to absorb their essence from their culture, from their story. So if we can embrace that, we have a very clear mind, we have a very clear sense that everyone have their own culture. We should respect and we should try to communicate with them. And I believe that is very helpful. And this article also provides 25 strategy. And I believe that I will read again in the future because I will say that it's really helped me to think about how to get the family or the community involved into the students' learning. And the second article is a blueprint for ELL success. I like the first idea. All teachers are teachers of English language learners. I remember I saw a clip talking about a ESL teacher mentioned that she felt very frustrated and isolated because every single day she always asked the main teacher, "What will we do today? What should I help you?" It's kind of like she just belittle herself, and she gets the relegated position in the classroom. So I think that is not right because ESL teacher is also a specialist. for kids, not only just the foreign students, but also for our own kids, because they specialize on the language development. So this time that I do the observation in the school, and the teacher showed me a lot of tips, and she also shared like her experience, like she like idea about like most students just recognize her as a co-teaching teacher. That's wonderful. And she doesn't really just help the ELL students, but also other kids if they need. And she also, shoulders some responsibility for the teacher. So they will discuss together and plan together. That's quite important. And we will discuss later, because I also find some article really very good for you. And then I saw the 3 videos. I will say, like here, I mentioned that what they are doing inspired me to become a humble teacher. Because usually we just read the textbook and we think, okay, that's just a series. But from the video, I realized, oh, some people have done that for many years. And, the way they do, no matter the idea, the concept, or their gesture, or their effort for the student, the patience for the student, that's really reminded me why I want to become a teacher. And after the video, I'll have some idea about that. First of all, I think that ESL teacher kind of like an actor, or you can say an actress, because they have to possess very good body language. So that's reminded me when I learned some teaching skill. People told me like a TPR, totally the physical response. For example, like if we demonstrate wrong, we try to ask the kids to do something, because we have a muscle memory, and that can help us to remember the words, to connect the word, the abstract idea, to the physical motion. And of course, that usually for the younger kids. But if I can say the environment for very vivid, very interesting, very funny, I believe that no matter how old my students are, they will like that kind of ear, and they will involve there. And also, I like the idea to teach the vocabulary. It's really very important. I remember when I was in Taiwan, usually in my generation, we started to learn English when we were junior high school, the middle school students. And the teacher always wants us to read the vocabulary first, to understand what is the definition of the vocabulary, and we can utilize later on in the article. So it's quite important. But if we can use a bilingual way, we can save a lot of time and more precise, to target the meaning. That is my idea. And also, I think that's quite important. If we want to teach, especially when we employ the textbook, we should explain the toolbar. What does a sidebar mean? What kind of information or resource you can get from the display, the outlet from the book. It's quite important. Even show the student how to use the index from the back of the book. It's quite useful for them, and they can understand catch the idea very quickly, and even do the self-teaching. It's really very important. And the thing I've learned, like always check the student's comprehension. When you read something, you try to explain, but you also ask students some questions to make sure they really understand, because they are learning not only just the language, they're also learning some not just language, also some knowledge, some ideas, some culture, and it is always keep going. So I would say it's quite important. And finally, I also do some research, expand to other articles, some website. To me, that is really very helpful, like SIOP, and what I mentioned, co-teaching ELLS. This article is really very good, because they encourage the teachers think about we can, plan together, implement together, and assess together, reflect together. It's two teachers, the co-teaching teachers, they were equal, but they can complement with each other. And I will say the relationship in the classroom is really very important, because they can show the student how to cooperate with others, how to respect others, how to listen to others. And that is not only for gaining knowledge, but also for their, future work. So it's quite important. And I strongly recommend the third one, this article. But that is just good teaching, the case for culturally relevant pedagogy. Because in this article, the researcher also demonstrates some example, like how the teacher invite the parents go to the classroom and show the kids how to cook, how to do some activity. That's really very wonderful, and I can't wait. If one day I can have my own class, I will do that. So finally, thank you for your watching, and have a nice summer. Bye bye.